has been 18 long months since New Zealand has closed its borders. It was on 18th of March last year when borders were suddenly closed, and that has altered the lives of tens of thousands of temporary migrant workers. We all know that. We have been hearing those stories and those pain. Tens of thousands of temporary migrant workers were stuck overseas. Unfortunately, yep, they are still struggling hard to return back. Then there were some fortunate temporary migrants, comparatively, who were onshore when the borders were closed, but they were caught up by the closed borders in some other way. Like their families was caught on the wrong side, and themselves, these migrants being on temporary visas, like on work visa or post-study work visa, they didn't have right to re-enter New Zealand if they would have chosen to left onshore. So yes, they have been forced to live a life of forced separation. We have, from time to time, we have been hearing the heart-wrenching stories of those people, those families. But today there was another story all over in the media, a story of a gentleman by the name of Masthan, who's from India, and he is a dad as well, and he has got a wife and kid who are separated. And yeah, it's a very heart-wrenching story. So we thought to bring him in our show and hear directly from him what he exactly have got to share. So Mastan, welcome to our digital studio. How are you today?
Going good. Thanks, Sandeepji. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, India Weekender, to cover my story.
Sure. So Mastan, we do understand that the pain that you are going through, but we would like to tell us briefly about from where you are and what exactly you are doing here in New Zealand, and what's your pain point.
Look, I came to New Zealand to study a master's in IT program, with holding like 12 years of IT experience. Back in India, I was working in Bangalore and Hyderabad with Microsoft, IBM, and Cognizant. So, which is like a very huge organizations. And like I took a break and thought of like I'll do my master's in IT. Choosing a New Zealand is a permanent pathway to settle down here. Thought of like it would be a great happiest things to do here, but unfortunately till now it didn't work anything uh, with our things whatever we thought
Sure,
of.
sure. So when did you first arrive here in New Zealand?
I arrived on February 29th Feb 2020,
2020.
and exactly on the same 26th of February 2020 my wife and my son got the visas,
All right.
and almost like they were about to travel to New Zealand on 11th of April, and
And yes, sure. And just to tell our audiences that probably the reason why your wife and your kid would have got their visa bit later than what yours, because that is a requirement by Immigration New Zealand, isn't it? That when they give a study visa, probably, yep, they want family to apply a bit later, isn't it? Is that the case as well?
Uh, I think like I had not applied on the combined visa, but what I had done is like first, on I say first, at first I applied for my education because I thought of like first let us go ahead first let me get my visa first, then later on I can apply for my wife and son. I appreciate like they had given very quickly because like I had been married like almost 8 years, and before marriage almost like we were there for 4 years of relationship.
Sure.
So it's been
Right.
like 12 years of relationship and everything is like properly planned, but with the lockdown everything got like didn't expect that this is going to be such a long run for us.
Surely. So, from what we have read from your story, that you have applied for exception for around 7 to 8 times for your wife and kids visa, isn't it? And it has been rejected all the time. So, what exactly you have been hearing from Immigration New Zealand?
um, every time like whenever I applied for most of the exemptions which I applied, because I fall under all the categories, only apart from one category I didn't fall, one check box I didn't fall under, that is government approved projects. I don't know like what exactly that government approved projects, whereas I work with an IT company which is into a travel industry now, and also with not to mention but also with a good amount of salary, which also a high scale level 9 program I had completed.
Mhm.
Every time whenever I applied, they straight away send an automated email saying that like you don't fall under the criteria. And when I wrote like 3,000 words and they don't want to see the whole story itself, they straight away they're rejecting. I don't even understand. Like I literally asked them like, could you please elaborate what exactly the issue on which category you are um, giving an failure of exemptions, unsuccessful stuff. But there is no response from them.
Right, fair enough. No, no, I completely understand. And from what we have read, that probably it's very difficult for you for every day to connect with your child and with your wife. And so, what exactly your child is saying to you, and how painful it is for you to explain to him what exactly is happening.
I hope like most of the people knows like how nowadays father is very important to the child. Like if you have a lot of bonding with them. Like you play cricket, you play football, you play like everything. You do all the activities with your son. So that's what I'm also a normal father. I do every activity with my son, including cutting cutting the vegetables, from there to folding the clothes, playing a cricket, everything we both will do. Picking up from the school, dropping, everything I do. And today, every night, he always says like, "Papa, I'm missing you, Papa." And you, I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to be emotional, but like, things is really bad. Like when I heard those voices from my son, and sometimes I feel like I should end up my life. I don't know.
No, no, mate. I would say that yeah, you should hold tight and you should speak to some consultant as well. Like, yeah, you need to look after your mental health, mate. I do understand it's a very painful moment, but yeah, that's not the way we want to think. And yeah, so I can understand your mental situation, but yeah, hold tight. And yeah, coming back to uh, so have you made any plans, or what exactly your wife or your family back in India, are they asking you to leave your job or come back? Are you experiencing those kind of dilemmas as well?
The thing is like we are at a position where we can't they can't ask me to come back. The reason is like whatever we both had earned from last 12 years we had spent for my education, so we didn't depend on the education loan. Like we both are employees. She is into a software testing, the manual testing, and I'm into a UX UI designer, application designer. And we both, whatever we had earned, we spent all, each and every dollar, each and every rupee, we call that, each and every dollar we had spent on my education. And suddenly if I leave everything, if I go back, then it's again we have to start from the scratch. So that's really difficult for my kids future. And yeah, please.
No, no, sure, definitely. I can completely understand, and I can completely see that all of our target audience, all of our readers and viewers, they will be able to relate with this story. This is a story of all our fellow ethnic migrants. Like, we had invested so much of money, we have either borrowed, not in your case, but yeah, you have spent all your life savings. And just because we have made that kind of huge investments, we are in a very tight situation, where we just have to hold on, and we cannot give up. So I would suggest you, our wishes to you is, Mastan, hold tight,
Yeah.
be like, you have covered a long journey of last 18 odd months. Probably keep your fingers crossed. The way things are moving, probably, yeah, we might see an end of this horrible situation anytime soon. So with that positive note, thank you very much for joining us today, and we wish you all the best. And I can say you that our readers also wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandeepji. Sandeepji, I want to share one more thing, such as like I had studied my level 9 program here, whereas exactly like we had completed our education, level 9 and level 10 batch people had completed their education on July and August simultaneously, and post that we got the post study work visa, and we don't even fall under the one of the residence visa. So I think like it would be great like if somebody like from Indian Weekender raise their voices to
Surely,
say.
no, I can assure you that our team at Indian Weekender is working on it. We always work for our fellow migrants, and thanks for sharing your concern. We really appreciate that, and we will be relaying it to the right authorities. Thank you very much for joining us live today.
Thank you, Sandeepji. Thank you, India Weekender. Thanks a lot.
So that, yes, that was Mastan who shared his heart wrenching story, and that is the case. The COVID has been a great disruptor as we all know, and the maximum brunt has been on our migrants. We have been covering that story. We have been bringing that their plight, their pain, and sharing with you all. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching Weekender and Fight. This is Sandeep along with Indian Weekender team. Thank you.